Greetings duelists and welcome to another video. So as you guys already know, we are very close to Infinite Forbidden format. The sneak peek is going to be taking place probably next weekend. I think around this week we should be close to be getting more and more reveals out of like TCG rarities, OCG imports, most likely TCG exclusive cards very soon. With the release and confirmation of Moon of the Closed Heaven, we already know that the Fiendsmith strategy is probably going to be the chase archetype of the set. It's going to be the set that's going to pretty much define the format, at least until a given like Forbidden Limited list, or maybe some shakeups involving TCG exclusives that we don't know about. Today, I kind of want to talk about some contenders that we do have that could actually try to combat like the Fiendsmith strategy and don't necessarily have to play the Fiendsmith cards. And one of them is branded. Branded Despia to be exact. There are multiple branded variants, like not just this one. There is one with Whitewoods. I will talk about Whitewoods on another video. But for now, I kind of want to focus on branded Despia because if you can see from the screen, shoutouts to Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta, like the branded Despia strategy has been doing very well in this national season. Like it has won Germany Nats, it has won like a lot of regionals, it has topped like a bunch of YCSs as well. We also have like OCG events where this deck has been performing well, and it's strange to see it actually performing just as good in the OCG because they only have one copy of Branded Fusion, one copy of Lubellion, and one copy of Branded Opening. And that goes to show you that Branded is a really strong cohesive strategy. Something to like take into consideration when it comes to like Fiendsmith is that even despite the strong power and resiliency to certain cards that the Fiendsmith cards provide, they do not change a lot of your deck's end boards. Like outside of this monster right here, the Dice Irie, there is really nothing else that really solidifies the Snake Eye board against like a few common cards that are being played in the metagame. And that's where Branded comes in. Like Branded is known for playing a lot of very powerful board breakers. Stuff like cards like Forbidden Dropless, Triple Tactic Talents, Triple Thrust, just to name like a couple of them. You have builds that main deck or side deck Dark Ruler no more, which is another really popular card that has been like springing up into the meta game as of late. Which means these Fiendsmith end boards that we're getting are not going to be as impactful or as like detrimental against like a lot of cards in the format. And I feel like if there is no Fiendsmith strategy that just outright FTKs you consistently, then I think Branded just stands a really good chance because they have enough tools to fight through certain boards. Here in the TCG, we have 3 copies of Branded Fusion, which is a really big deal. Gimme Puppet Nightmare has been like an issue as of late, like in both TCG and OCG formats. But something people need to consider is that when you're breaking boards, like with the Branded deck, you need to make sure that your opponent does not get to play the next turn. Otherwise, they'll just break your board back, and then they'll just like overwhelm you with their follow-up. And that's something that the Fiendsmith engine does. The Fiendsmith engine is completely recurable. Like almost all the engine pieces of the deck all can just put themselves back into your main deck or extra deck, meaning that you just have access to like a full rotation of all your Fiendsmith cards again in the following turns. Beatrice is pretty much one of the stronger cards that does not get to be recycled itself, but like these cards are really strong on their own. Like for example, the Fiendsmith Engraver can just send cards to the graveyard. The Link monsters can equip themselves to the Fiendsmith and give them like extra bonus effects. The Dice Airy, if it's properly fusion summoned, like it just becomes this really powerful boss monster that just negates every single turn and just starts like picking apart your opponent's boards. Like just making sure that you have something in your like branded strategy that just secures you the mid to late game is like justified, and that's where the Gimme Puppet Nightmare comes in. I'm not. That's not to defend nor condone like you Gimme Puppet locking, but it's more on the sense of if a ban list does not address this angle of this strategy, then Branded has a very fair chance against like the Fiendsmith meta. Something that we don't see in this Branded strategy, but I'm going to incorporate into like another videos very soon, is there is one engine in the game that actually highly benefits Branded, that really like helps clear up a bunch of their weaknesses that the deck already has. And once I show you that engine, you'll understand what I mean. I'll showcase it in a later video. If I do get more followers into this channel, I will show it more sooner than later. But right now I'm pretty much gonna keep it under wraps because I do have teammates that are testing for like the WCQ, and in order to give them a very competitive edge, I'm just going to like keep it under wraps. It's not something like super secretive. If you look very well and deep enough, you might figure it out by the time I show it. But there is one engine in the game that is very recent that really benefits Branded and pretty much puts them on a level that it can like deal with a lot of issues that the strategy already was suffering from. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about Branded for a little bit. Like if you've seen like Pakawat like playing this on a bunch of regionals, like you already know that this strategy has been doing very well. Like it has gotten quite a number of different tops. I'm trying to see if I can find the, yeah, this is Pack's list from like the last regional here he went to. I think it was the Indianapolis one, and as you can see, this one is 50 cards. You see the Dark Ruler in the main deck, which is like again a really powerful card that just helps you clear boards. And outside of like the fusion monster, there's no real boards that you can make with the Fiendsmith cards that just place around this card. Like you see like how flexible the side deck is. Like you see like this card, like the Blazing Branded King. This card has not been seen play in a Branded strategy until very recent, thanks to Uriel Diaz. This card like is a really powerful if it resolves. It's pretty much like game ending for certain strategies. You have Evenly Matched, which I kind of want to talk about Evenly Matched a little bit more. I will talk about it a little bit more in depth in another video. But yeah, like Pac topped 3 regionals in a row in this very format with this deck, despite Snake Eyes being like the better strategy. And that just goes to show you that this deck is really powerful. Another thing that this deck has going for it, and I guess I can show it now, is that the Whitewoods engine also benefits from this. This is not the engine I was talking about, the one that makes it very resilient to hand traps and stuff. But this is another engine that you can pair with Branded, that you can just like utilize properly to like secure a lot of end games. This one does not play Branded Fusion, but there are builds that you can play with Branded Fusion in it. Another thing that we have going for us that also benefits Branded is the Bestial Rebellion as a 3. Same with all the other bestials. And the bestial cards are really strong in this format. I think I made a Yu-Gi-Oh alert video a little while back. You can check on my playlists. And I made a small PSA talking about like DD Crow and like bestials and like other graveyard removal hand trap monsters. Because those cards are going to be very beneficial this upcoming format. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I just kind of wanted to talk about. I don't want to ramble any longer or like be repetitive. I'd say keep an eye for branded. If you cannot afford the Fiendsmith strategy and you just want an edge in this next format, I say branded is a very strong choice. It's not just good against Fiendsmith, it's also good against like the other decks we have in the format. It's also very strong against Tempai Dragons. It's very strong against like many other decks, and as long as Sanctifier is legal, I don't think this deck is going to be powercrept anytime soon. I think like the only real deck that can actually fight against this real strongly will probably be the Gimmick Puppet strategy itself. And that's not just because you're giving them a free monster, it's because that deck can pretty much FTK you. And if you're not running hand traps, then you're pretty much forced to like give yourself an agenda to run hand traps. Otherwise, yeah, Gimmick Puppet are just going to do something else. So this deck is not like resilient to every strategy in the game, but like the more popular strategies and the Fiendsmith centric ones should really not be a worry for you if you're playing branded. One big PSA I will give is branded is not a real easy deck to play. This deck has a lot of complex lines, so feel free to just check out like all the other branded experts like Nightfall, like for example Uriel Diaz, the branded Discord, Nash, like all those other like players. Like if you really want to be in depth with branded, those are people to look out for. Again, this is a complicated deck, but I think like as long as branded fusion is a 3 and Sanctifier is legal, you shouldn't have an issue. Yeah, I'm rambling, so I hope you found this video informative to your liking and understanding. Keep practicing and keep dueling.